My name is Desmond Lim Zhong Qing, so I will present about the company introduction. The company assists us in the interview is Aronex Sendera Berhad, which is a software company based in Kuala Lumpur. The business started from October 2020 by Mr. Tu Seng Wei from MU Cyberjaya. The company mainly developed their project with the following models such as project line, product line, partner line, and internal line. They help digitalize client idea to boost out success. The firm familiar with lot of framework and brand new technology that market needed. They also mainly focus in e-commerce, logistics, gamification, incorporation, entertainment, artificial intelligence, and process automation. They currently employ 10 talents in their company, and most of them graduated from MU Cyberjaya.
Hi, my name is Wong. So today I will present the first four identify risk and its mitigation plan. For the first risk is the no countermeasure to distributor denial of service attack (DDoS) or risk with a risk level of 15 and risk rating catastrophic. DDoS can make a service unavailable to intended users. It is launched from multiple sources. It can overload the system and prevent a legitimate user from accessing it. This can disrupt the company operation and business. So what are the mitigation plan? So we recommend that the company use a distributor denial of service mitigation service, and then ensure that the system is being used are properly configured and patched. Then thirdly, use a web application firewall to protect the web application from malicious source. Then for the monitoring plan, use intrusion detection and prevention system to help detect and block malicious traffic. Then implement mechanism for detect unusual traffic, such as comparing the current traffic against the historical traffic level. For recovery plan, we need to identify of the system and network that are impacted by the attack. Then we identify the source of the attack, and then we implement the countermeasure to mitigate the effect of the attack. Then we have to identify which system and network we need to restore. Then finally, we restore the system and network. Then the second risk we identify is the no intrusion detection system in the network with a risk level of 8 and risk rating of serious. It's important that the detection system is important for detect and prevent unauthorized access to the network. So without it cannot detect intrusion happening in time. So we cannot take immediate response to it. So for the mitigation plan, we need to install intrusion detection system to monitor the network activity. So for the monitoring plan, we need to periodically test the IDS to ensure that it can detect intrusion. Then we have to review IDS log regularly to look for any intrusion. Third, we need to update the IDS signature regularly to ensure they are up to date to detect the latest attack. For the recovery plan, we need to identify the intrusion, collect information about the intrusion, report the intrusion to the appropriate personnel, and then mitigate the intrusion. So for the third risk we identify is the no disaster recovery plan with a risk level of 16 and risk rating of catastrophic. Without a disaster recovery plan, we are unable to resume operation in shortly. We will lose revenue, customer, and also reputation. And it can also lead to data loss and corruption. It may be costly and time-consuming to recover also. So for the mitigation plan, we need to create a disaster recovery plan to respond to unplanned incidents. And also we need to back up regularly. So for the monitoring plan, we need to testing and rehearsing the disaster recovery plan to make sure that the disaster recovery plan is working well. So then second, we need to always ensure the backup integrity by comparing the backup file with the original file. So for the recovery plan, we need to execute response procedure to respond to the occurring disaster. Second, we need to execute recovery procedure to ensure the essential operational tasks can be continued working as soon as possible. Third, assess the damage and begin the process of reconstruction of the new data center. So for the fourth risk identified is the store unencrypted client data with a risk level of 16 and risk rating of catastrophic. It is potential risk of data breach without encrypting client data. the attacker can access the data without any decryption. So it also does not prevent internal employee from viewing the data. So we need to protect the data, the client data, in order to protect the client privacy and company reputation. So we recommend that the company encrypt the client data before storing. Then we need to restrict access to unencrypted client data to unauthorized personnel only. And then keep the secret key for decrypting the encrypted data secret, and only unauthorized personnel can know the secret key. Then for the monitoring plan, we need to monitor any unauthorized access to the data, and also record who is accessing the data and when it is read. Then for the recovery plan, we need to encrypt again the client data with a new key when the old secret key is compromised. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
So my name is Tong Kah Jie, and I will start to present the problem 5, the server over go downs, the REST level is 12, and then the REST rating catastrophic. So the organization is required with us. He said there are organizations, the server is 1 or 2 times will go down in a month. So for this kind of problem, got many reasons. It may be a physical machine lost power, or their performance of server is too high, cause the servers become hot, or the environment of server is not suitable for the server, and then the operating system or network card experience issues. So it will cause the company cannot process anything, cannot process their business. When their server down, it means the website of the company is also down. So for the mitigating plan is understand the organization should understand the process of server and why the server overgo down. Also ensure the environment of server room is suitable for their server. For example, they have installed a cooling system and aircon to keep the server will not very hot, and then update the equipment of server. The install a high spec server to keep the server can run on high performance. So for the next monitoring plan is review the main problem of why server will go down, and recheck the equipment of server is good condition. It means the spec or something of server in bad condition should be changed. And then the recovery plan is ensure the specific data of server was backed up and stored by another location. So the sixth problem is workstation and server software does not update regularly. The rest is level 4 and rest rating modular. So for this is means that the organization, their applications of the workstation and server software was not updated regularly. It will cause the old versions of the application have the vulnerability, and then the vulnerability will be exploited by some malicious person like hacker or something. So this risk may cause the employee device become a victim device. For example, maybe the hacker used the exploit the vulnerability and then to connect to the victim device to hack some things. So for the mitigation plan is the organization should setting the update automatically on the workstation and server software, and then their IT department also have a weekly check on a allocation of software to have a newest version. Also install the antivirus software to prevent some hacker to hack the vulnerability through the allocations. So the next is monitoring plan. Ensure the current version of workstation and server software has not the vulnerability, and then make sure the version at the newest. Then for the recovery plan is the ensure the specific data was stored and backup or encryptions, and also ensure the security plan is protect the world system. And then the seven is unauthorized access the server rooms. The risk is level the risk level is 16, and then risk rating is catastrophic. So for the organization reply, it says they are not locking the server room door regularly lah. The server room they can give every employee to access their server rooms. So this will cause harsh damage to the company and the organization lah. When someone is accessing the server maliciously, For example, a sabotage employee would damage or modify to the server code server downs, and the server would be not integrity and not confidentially. So the mitigatory plan is the organization should lock the server room and then uh, give the employee who need to access the server room need to apply the request to the manager. So the manager pass the key to the employee to access the server room. Also, the CEO or manager should set the password when open the server. This means someone who accessing the server, they need the password to change the data in server or some things. So for the monitoring plan is install the CCTV system around the server room to record who was accessing the server room. And then the next is record the detail and informations. So who apply to the apply request to the manager, the need to access the server room. The manager should record the detail and information of employee. So for the recovery plan is pick up the specific data of software to prevent another to modify it, and also install a smart door system to control the authentication of employee lah. This means to control the authentication of employee like manager or CEO or something high positions employee hold the smart card and then can get the authentication to access the server room. So the problem 8 is no backup power supplies for their server. This is race level 9 and then race rating is serious lah. Because based on the organization, it said there are no another backup battery power to supply the server. So this means when the main current electric is down, the server also down. So this will cause the server down regularly or emergency when the main electric is down or also closed or something else. So it will cause the company or organization cannot use their server to process business lah. So this is the availability problem to the organization. So for the mitigating plan is the organizations who should install the backup power supplies for the server and then ensure the server will not go down when lost the main electric energy. So for the monitoring plan is use backup battery to support server when the main electric energy supply is lost, and then ensure the server can process not like normally above the 48-hour when using the backup battery or something else. So the recovery plan is ensure the specific data should be stored and it should be backup or something, and then ensure the main power supplies for server will not intercept by other. That's all. Thank you.
So for the next risk is the backup interval is too long. The backup interval of RNX is 1 every 3 months according to the interview. So it is too long as data they generated as a software development company is very huge. Imagine what if the data they lose in past 3 months when they are ongoing a huge project. So how to mitigate it? It is very suggested that the firm back up their repository periodically, and it is also a good idea to back up data every day if it is feasible. Employees should check the backup status from time to time to ensure that all data is available when needed and in the event of a data breach. In case the latest data is no backup, the system administrator should check back to last backup performed and try to restore the data to minimize the loss. For the next rate is the computer in company is activated even when the employee away from it. So the interviewer admitted that they usually leave their computer accessible even when the authorized employee away from it. This is also a hidden danger which may allow the attacker or competitor to go into their premise and steal the data by accessing into the system maliciously. So how to mitigate it? So we suggested that the RNX should train their employee to turn off or lock their machine while they are not in use. They also are suggested to preserve all progress and enter hibernate mode or lock automatically if no response for a time. So The companies should not place the sensitive data with the computer in public workplace, where the top secret data should only be accessible to those who have the higher privilege. Employees who are the last to leave the workplace should always cross-check and ensure that all equipment and premises are properly locked. How to recover it if the machine is accessible? So if the machine are unfortunately accessible to unauthorized person, the event occur on the devices should be recorded and take further action. So next risk is the employee are allowed to bring their own devices, which is also known as BYOD. They allow their employee to bring their own devices to the office for working, which means that the machine are able to access to their internal network and transfer data with the system or the server. As we all know, most of the critical security risks come from the insider. So how to mitigate it? The company is recommended to acknowledge their employee that the company is accessible to their browsing activity in their own devices during the working hour. So to monitor it, the company also is suggested to install the monitoring software and ask the employee to enable the software during operation hour for suspicious traffic of data. If the monitor software capture any suspicious traffic or internal data leakage, the company should blacklist the devices from accessing the internal network immediately and investigate the employee who involved in the event. So for the next risk is the weak password policy implemented in their company. So they only enforce their password with the condition at least 8 characters, which is grant opportunity to the attacker to brute force the password. As we all know, cracking a password is just a matter of time and it depends on the complexity of the password. Therefore, it is highly suggested to enforce strong password policy for the company and different password for different sites. So how to mitigate it? The company is recommended to creating and enforcing complicated password based on the following criteria, which their password should contain at least 8 to 15 characters, and the more character is better. A combination of a capital and lowercase letter, a mix of letter and digit, and at least one unusual character. So how to monitor it? The company should design a condition when if the password input are incorrect for 3 times, the system will restrict the input for a couple of minutes. After that, when the try are existing 5 times, the system administrator should receive a notification that someone who is unauthorized is trying to brute force the system. So for recovery plan, if the passwords are legal, the company should disable the account immediately to avoid any further data breach and restore all the data from the compromised account. Moreover, the system may also force log out the compromised account if malicious login attempt is discovered from other devices.
Hello, my name is Yeng, and I'm going to talk about the identified risk and its mitigation plan. So the first one I'm going to talk about is no termination employment procedures. Aeronex does not have any termination employment procedures. It might lead to information leak after resigning from the company. There should be a termination employment procedure such as signing contract of not leaking company confidential information and waiving company properties that are given to employee. For the mitigation plan, Aeronex required to create a termination employment procedure and require employee to sign during their admission to company. For the monitoring plan, Aeronex should make sure every employee sign the termination employee procedures during their admission. The employee should also return the company device and any information that belongs to the company. For the recovery plan, Aeronex should do a backup on its employee device to prevent any progress loss, and IT department should check all the employee. The resigned employee did not bring any company data or devices with them before they leave the company. So the next one is Aeronex does not monitor their company device. The Aeronex require a monitor system that can check all its company device to check if the employees are violating any of the company rules. Therefore, Aeronex should install an application that will allow it to monitor its company devices. for the mitigation plan is to install monitoring application on its company devices such as workstation. The monitoring plan will be weekly check if the application has any modifications, monitor to ensure no unauthorized software is installed, monitor any unusual behavior and inform IT department immediately if found. The recovery plan is to daily backup to cloud server or physical hard disk, or if any data is stolen, via the monitoring plan application can review to see which device and what information has been stolen from. The next one is Aeronex did not conduct any penetration testing. Aeronex did not conduct its penetration testing before, but it is important for Aeronex to conduct one. Tests that are not done properly can crash servers, expose sensitive data, and corrupt crucial production data. Without doing penetration testing, there might exist some unknown vulnerabilities that allow attackers to do damage or take control of the company system. Therefore, it is crucial for Aeronex to do penetration testing to find the vulnerabilities of their system and patch it as soon as possible. For the mitigation plan of this, Aeronex need to do penetration testing for their servers, workstations, and website. For the monitoring plan, the penetration testing should be done at least once a year. For the recovery plan, Aeronex needs to patch the vulnerability of the system if found, keep all the software up to date, and server backup via cloud or physical hard disk before testing. The last one I'm going to talk about is unrestricted rule of using software from unknown sources. Every company need to have a rule to restrict its employees to use software that are downloaded from unknown source. With the software coming from unknown source, there is a chance that the software is infected with virus or it is a spyware, or to backdoor to obtain the employee or company sensitive information. The mitigation plan for this is to prohibit download and software that are from unknown sources. Download and use software from authorized or trusted source only. The monitoring plan for this is IT department can check the employee devices to make sure no software from unknown source is installed. We also need to ensure that Aeronex have installed the version is up to date, and they can also request support from IT department if they require to install a certain software. The recovery plan for this is to ensure having daily backup before installing any devices and uninstall any malicious or unknown sources software once found. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Lim Zhong Qing, and I will present about the last 4 identify list and the mitigation plan. So start with 70. No restricted rule for external device such as hard disk. The company has no restricted rule for external device such as the hard disk to employee. This might result in sabotage, or the organization could be infected with malware such as spyware or virus via external device. At the end, the company may need to pay large to recover the malware infection. Okay, the mitigation plan of 70 is employees should not be allowed to connect their own external device or any other external device to business equipment according to company policy. The monitoring plan is the company should do a spot check or inspect employee to check that they are not utilizing unattended external device with company owner equipment. So the recovery plan, the first one is separate on affected machines, share storage, and the network to prevent the virus from spreading. And the second plan is remove malware from the infected machine and recover any lost data if need. Questionality is no standard procedure to isolate infected machine. So there is no standard technique for separating connected machine and the infected machine. So this is serious problem because a virus can hack applications, remove information, and reformat or write your hard disk, resulting in discrete perform or possibly result in complete failure of your system. Hacker can also employ virus to steal or destroy your data, by gaining access to your personal information. So let's see the mitigation plan. The company should implement a standard procedure for employees to follow in order to prevent the infected machine to spread the virus to other devices. The monitoring plan is the company should antivirus software to secure and monitor every company device. If there is an issue file, it should report to the company automatically so response can be made immediately. So there are 3 recovery plans. So the first one is the company should backup the important file immediately to ensure the information is secure. The second one is disconnect the device from local network and internet immediately by unplugging the network port physically. So the last recovery plan of it is remove or format the infected machine as soon as possible. So next one is lack of knowledge about the cyber security and vulnerabilities. So each company should provide knowledge about cyber security and vulnerability to each employee. This is because if the employee ignores of their cyber security will lead to his data leaks or effective cyber assaults, financial loss, introduction or harm to an organization's reputation are all possible outcomes of a breakdown of its information technology systems. Phishing and malware are also a concern. Cybersecurity is vital because it covers everything that has to do with protecting our data from cyber attackers who wish to steal it and use it for malicious purpose. Okay, the mitigation plan is the company should make a handbook about cybersecurity and vulnerability to employees. The second one is the company should provide briefing of cybersecurity and vulnerabilities to employees, such as, for example, the AMU will do it. Monitoring plan, the company may do phishing attack simulation to determine if the employees are aware of the threat, and the company should test employee security awareness quiz or any platform. So the recovery plan is the company should have a security department for handling technology security issues. Okay, the last one is a lack of security surveillance. The company had a CCTV but only at the entrance. That means other place of the company is not secure. So any cameras inside the office or illegal break the in from others entrance to the office cannot be tracked down using CCTV. In result, the criminal may do any illegal activity without getting noticed or monitored. While there is also the possible that the inventor will take the firm information. So the mitigation plan is install surveillance cameras to keep an eye on the employees and the workplace environment. To lessen the danger, ensure that only trustworthy employees are in charge of opening the office or restrict the number of persons in responsibility of opening the office. The monitoring plan is the company will need to inspect the CCTV system on a regular basis to ensure that everything is working properly. It's also a good idea to check the CCTV recorder to see whether the video is recorded. And the recovery plan is the CCTV recording should be backed up to the cloud storage on a daily basis. That's all our presentation. Thank you.